Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are able to see me. I'm broadcasting this morning from a very different location. I find myself in Ohel Moshe, a bastion in Jewish education in Golders Green, where many rabbis and leaders in Anglo Jewry are learn and train. So it's wonderful to be here, and I hope that everyone is well. So today is Tu Bishvat. Happy Tu Bishvat to everyone, and that's what we want to discuss. Firstly, good morning, Clarice. Wonderful to see you. To Peter, to Michael, to Rachel, to Caroline. So good of you to join us all this morning. So, firstly, apologies. Yesterday, regrettably, things, sometimes when we do things in the morning, it is events beyond my control, series of bereavements, and it was just impossible to manage to fit any more in. I did start very early, but I didn't manage to fit it in. But we are back today with a bang and looking forward to it. Firstly, I think that it would be quite remiss of me not to make mention of the terrible terrorist, the kidnapping and the hostage situation in Texas over Shabbos. Imagine people that went to shul. It doesn't matter. Yes, it was a conservative or reform shul, but nonetheless, Jewish people that went to pray to God in a sanctuary, and a terrorist bursts in, takes hostage 4 people, including the rabbi, and that for hours on end they faced threats and intimidation and fears for their lives. That's just them that were held at gunpoint by this kidnapper. And then, of course, we have to think also of the families that had to live with the fear and the worry and for hours on end, not knowing what was going to be with their loved ones. So despite the fact that, thank God, it ended with them all being freed, liberated, unharmed, that doesn't end the trauma for them. There is no question that the post-traumatic stress syndrome will continue. They will need, they and their families will need countless sessions of therapy, and it is something that they will have to deal with and come to terms with for many, many days, weeks, and months ahead. And we wish them and their community in rebuilding much strength. That having been said, I want to turn our attention very briefly. Good morning, Estelle, and good morning, Estelle, because there are always 2 Estelles. Estelle Phillips, and there's another Estelle who is watching, no doubt, with her dog. Good morning to everyone. So there is the festival of Shavuot of Tu B'Shvat is one which essentially it is an agricultural festival. It is a demarcation, one of the 4 new years that we have in the year. This one is all about a demarcation in terms of the agricultural year, which fruits are considered part of the previous year, part of the next year, in terms of the tithes and the orla and all the various things that we have to do to the fruits of the trees and the tree to know which year the trees are. So that it doesn't have any direct implications and relevance to our lives. I don't think we are farmers, although in a few weeks' time, not to be missed, we have managed to track down a Shemitah farmer, a sabbatical farmer, who will be interviewed on a Monday night, and that is really something not to be missed, to hear how he has completely put his whole life on hold to keep the sabbatical year of Shemitah, which is extraordinary courage and a real hero of Israel. And tonight, of course, at 8:15, not to be missed, the one, the only, a real iconic figure in world Jewry, not just Anglo Jewry, and that is Mr. Edwin Shuker, someone who we know, but we only know a fraction of what he does in the world. He is involved in so many projects and programs and initiatives across world Jewry, and now he lives part of the year in Dubai, and he will be speaking about the Abraham Accords, whether it is a mirage or a return to the golden era. A fascinating talk, an opportunity to ask your questions. That's at 8:15 tonight. There's the plug. So, Tu Bishvat. So let me give you a thought, a philosophical thought and approach to Bishvat. And it goes as follows. In Devarim, in Deuteronomy, we're told, Ki Adam Eitz Hasadeh, that a person is comparable, is compared to the fruits of the tree. And the question is, why are we compared to a tree? Ki Adam Eitz Hasadeh, we're compared to a fruit tree. And you could say, well, a tree has fruits, so we have fruits, right? So that's one comparison. So the fruits are our children, our grandchildren, generations. Trees have, generations of produce. But I think there is something deeper and something literally deeper. Sometimes you look at a tree and it looks all literally right as rain. And then all of a sudden there comes, in America, they're having terrible weather at the moment. You can have a tornado or a storm, right? And all of a sudden, I remember we had 3 fruit trees in our garden, and in one foul swoop, they were all destroyed in a storm, right? Before that storm, they looked fat, they looked fine, they looked well, right? And yet, when you have the winds of change, when you have a storm, when you have any type of threat, any type of upheaval, sometimes these trees do not survive the weather. And that's all dependent, friends, on one thing, not what you see above the surface, but what's going on under the surface. It's the roots. How deep are their roots? How strong are their roots? If a tree has strong roots, then it will be able to withstand the winds of change, the hurricanes, the tornado, right? The inclement weather. It will be able to withstand whatever comes its way. And so it is that with human beings, we are very much the same. That we find ourselves facing especially in the current pandemic, on a daily basis, a barrage of challenges. We find ourselves, there's tornadoes and there's currents and there's winds and there's inclement weather. There's a pandemic and there's ill health and there's flu and there's financial concerns and there's relationships which are strained, and there's all types of pressures in our lives. And the question is, how are we able to deal with it? And that depends and is contingent on the roots that we've laid over the course of years gone by. Those roots, in a sense, are laid in part by our parents, but then it's up to us to continue those roots, right? Are we able to ensure that we have strong roots of faith, of belief, of values and principles? If we are, then whatever comes our way, we'll be able to withstand it. We'll be able to weather it. We'll be able to overcome it. We'll be able to embrace it. And therefore, that is the message, one message of Tu B'Shvat, the idea that when we have challenges, when we have the winds of change, then we will be able to overcome whatever life throws our way. That is one idea. The other thing is that there are trees and there are trees. You look at trees, and can you differentiate between them? Not in the winter. In fact, it's interesting, Tu B'Shvat really shouldn't be in the winter, should it? Because at the end of the day, when do we see the fruits of our labor? That's in the spring or in the summer. So why are we celebrating Tu B'Shvat, the new year for trees, right in the winter when there ain't much happening? You can't see anything. You go out into your garden, it's barren, it's bare. And the answer is because friends, it's not what's happening above the surface that counts. Underneath the surface, it's not visible to the naked eye, but yet the sap is running through those trees. We all know that the real action is going on underneath the surface, but it's growing nonetheless. And that's important for us to realize that it's difficult at the moment. We're trapped indoors. We're not able to do and to travel as much and as freely as we would like. Nonetheless, we recognize, we are able to say to ourselves, we can achieve just great things even within the confines of our lives when we're feeling rather constricted, restricted, constrained. That doesn't matter. A person can grow like the tree can grow in the winter, at times of darkness, at times of light, at times when we're fruitful in the summer, and at times in the winter when we're not feeling as productive. You're coming every day, you're learning, you're growing. We're making the most of every opportunity. We're davening. We're helping them to change the world. That is what it means to Bishvat. That's what it means to be the fruit of the trees, to be the trees, to have strong roots. And Mitzvah Hashem, if we are able to take this message to heart, the message of Tu Bishvat, which with deep roots and planting seeds for the future, and please God, we will great fruits, great produce, and great things for us, for our families, and all of Israel. Wishing you all well. We're going to end here as I spend a blessed hour in the beautiful bastion of Jewish education, Ohel Moshe, a rare opportunity to learn with some of the fine, great scholars of our age. And afterwards, then I'll be back hitting the road back to Woodside Park. Anyways, have a great day. Tonight, 8:15, the Abraham Accords with Edwin Shooker, not to be missed. Have a great day.